Alright, boss. Good.
Okay, I think we're...
Yeah, I will see how you do. Yeah. But I was.
We got there in the end. Thank you guys, that was fantastic.
Alright, are you? Good.
Hello, welcome to Stamford Bridge. Me and Dan here. We've got the whole team on board for a magical European night. We really can't wait. And we have got the all-important team news. I have to say, you're not going to expect this. I think that this has taken a lot of people by surprise. I'm going to go straight to it. It's not a 4-3-3 as some people were expecting. It is 5 at the back or 3 at the back, but the attack is different. Kai Havertz is starting up front. Conor Gallagher, it looks like, is going to be the number 10 just behind him. You've got the same midfield as the first leg with Enzo, Kanté and Kovacic. And Cucurella obviously replaces Chilwell, who is suspended. You've got Chalobah, Silva and Wes. And then you've got Reece James to the right and Kepa in goal. So, Dan, I mean, how do you unpack that?
Oh, it's quite a bit to unpack. I'm not sure many people would have thought Felix would be on the bench.
Yeah. And Sterling.
And Sterling. You know, we are in need of goals, which we haven't scored many goals this season, let's be honest. But Havertz is probably our biggest goal threat. So it makes a lot of sense to bring him in.
When he's in form, but you know, you have to say it's been a long time since we've seen
we've got to
the
get
Kai
goals
Havertz that he can be.
They have to come from somewhere, I guess. You know, and nights like this, they are, in many ways, they are win-wins because not many people expect us to do it tonight. But this is the kind of night where Chelsea do come alive. It's cold, it's windy. It'll probably rain at some point in the next hour or so. Perfect conditions to beat the Real Madrid side that has been so dominant. But yeah, I was quite shocked to see. You know, that I think a lot of people were expecting 4 at the back. I prefer us with 3, so yeah. I'm happy with that. Interested to see whether Vinicius comes up against Fofana or whether he's up against Chalobah. But very important that Thiago Silva is back in the team and in the middle. Look, it's a unique team. It's obviously been selected for a specific purpose by Frank, and let's just hope it goes to plan.
Yeah, it's the kind of decision that if you make it and it goes right, you look like a genius. If you make it and it goes wrong, he's going to be held accountable, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, at least you can look to the bench.
Lewis Hall's on the bench, by the way,
you know,
which is
that is a very interesting shout. You know, he really impressed when he made his debut for us earlier on in the season. He's got drive. He did everything but score, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So it's you know, a big moment for him, and there's every chance we'll need to call upon him. But then you look at the bench, we've got Mason Mount, who just knows how to play in these kind of games. I did expect to see him a little bit sooner, but obviously by the time he came on, we were 2-0 down against Madrid.
He had that wonderful chance that was cleared by Rudiger of all
people. It wasn't our night, you know,
yeah.
But we get a second bite at the cherry. That's the beauty of, you know, these knockout stages. And hopefully we can do something here. It's imperative, really, that we get the first goal. Whether it's in the first minute or the 80th, it's imperative that we get it. And all of a sudden, I think you'll see the whole complexion of the place change.
Just to keep the tie alive, it's worth pointing out that the fans are out there. You know, you'll see them. There's flares, there's celery.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fans really have to be the 12th man. They have to generate an atmosphere here because we want to see this, you know, that we're still in it, right?
Yeah, you know, I think at this point, everything, all the 1%, you need them all. I was saying it off air, you know, the DJ, whoever's the DJ in the dressing room, they've got to get it right.
Yeah.
Little things are going to play a huge part in tonight. It's imperative that Stamford Bridge is loud and intimidating. Yeah, decent team. Decent. It's the wrong show.
Wrong show.
It's the
yeah.
wrong show. Get rid of him.
Let's also talk about the fact that Real Madrid have gone with the same team that they put out in the first leg.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're Carlo Ancelotti, job done. They played really well. They were all over us, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, look, for the first 10 minutes, it looked like we had real intent. And we were soaking up pressure and then springing. And then after a while, we stopped springing and they started to really get control of the game. Carlo would ask for the same again, you know, and he's one of the best managers ever in the history of the game. So he will probably give Madrid a very simple objective: go out there and score, and Chelsea must score 3.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember the last time we done it. So
we'll take it to penalties. How are your nerves going to hold out for that then?
For pens, been there before, done it. Won the Champions League on penalties. We had a very good penalty shootout run. So should it go there, you know, I think we've had recently a little bit of misfortune in penalties, but you know, nothing goes up for too long, but nothing goes down for too long as well. So I personally, I'm not confident.
Yeah.
But if we hit the back of the net first, you will see everything change.
There's got to be hope. There's got to be hope in these. I've seen crazier things at Stamford Bridge. Let's just talk about some of the other changes. Obviously, you know, Frank Lampard had some enforced changes. You know, the sending off to Chilwell, so Cucurella comes in. And, you know, it's not necessarily our first choice back line, right? But what do you make of this defence?
I think it's capable.
Yeah.
I really do. I think any team is really good if you allow them to be good. You know, we saw it at Brighton the other day, or against Brighton, where you stand off teams, and every team at this level is good enough to pick you off and to find gaps. You've got to be aggressive, you have to be assertive, you've got to know when to take risks and when not to, and you've got to be clinical. You know, goals change games. If we score a goal, everything changes. I've said it 3 times already, but it really does. You know, the psychology of the sport means that Real Madrid will just start to retreat, and then we grow, and then the fans get involved, and it becomes a real 12-man situation. And it's all these little things that can really make a difference tonight.
Yeah. They've got an incredible midfield with the likes of Modric and Kroos. We know about it, but we've got a decent midfield, and they seem to look good together, particularly when Kanté. Isn't it incredible to think that he's been out injured for so long, and he comes back in that Liverpool game and looks like he's never been away?
Well, it's in his DNA, you know, and I really rate the Madrid midfield, but it's not a midfield we haven't seen before. We've seen them twice in a row. Yeah. We got the better of them 2 years ago and really overran their midfield. We could have won that 10-0 on aggregate. Last year we were really unfortunate. You know, we were carving them open, but you know, Benzema was essentially the difference. We haven't not seen this before. We've got pretty much the same midfielders that we had, and they've got the same. You've just got to be able to play against them in a way where they, you know, if you give Luka Modric time, you're in big trouble. So first thing you've got to do is give him no time. Little things like that, I think that's what made the difference.
Yeah. Where do you think that this game is going to be won and lost? Or is it just the fact that we need to be clinical? I mean, in fact, Real Madrid did struggle against Cadiz. They had loads and loads of missed opportunities, but then they did end up winning that 2-0.
It's the old story of football, you know. If you let it, it will kick you in the teeth, you know. We've all seen it. Dominating a game, should win, and you get sucker punched and you lose the game, you know, and you had all these chances. When we do get a chance, because it is Real Madrid, they're a top team, it'll be few and far between. When we do get them, we have to make them pay. Goals change games, and that's the story of it today. Go out there, we're 2-0 down in the leg, so there's nothing to lose. You know, if we try and play it safe, and even if we get a 0-0, it does nothing for us. Go and be brave. Okay,
I'm excited, and the fans are making a noise outside, so they'll be singing from the rafters. And speaking of the rafters, we can head up to the gantry now and join Pat Nevin and Ben Andrews.
April the 18th, folks, and the season is all on this one. Maybe it's a miracle, maybe it's not quite as much as that, Pat. What do you reckon? Are we at miracle stage yet or not?
Pretty close to it, has to be said. This is the proverbial it, as far as the season is concerned. But it's Real Madrid. And it's Chelsea playing Real Madrid. And yeah, they've got a two-goal start on us. Yeah, they're a pretty good team. We've not been in the greatest of form. But it's a game of football. And the one thing you will say about a game of football with a bunch of professional players, they never ever go on a football field if they've got anything about them at all and don't think, we can do this. And there will be players in that dressing room and on that, you know, on that pitch that start for us that think, we can do this. And part of the reason for that is some of them have done it before. Some of them have got 3 goals up against Real Madrid before. So, you know, there's got to be some belief in there. We've got a bit of realism as well, we're not silly. But I'm actually still excited about it. I want to see this. I'm dying for us to come out the gate and be 100 miles an hour. You know, really bursting out. I'm not quite Jason levels here, but I'm pretty excited about it. I really want to see us giving something special tonight to the fans that are here.
And in terms of the team that's picked that we've just seen come in, I suppose with Koulibaly and Chilwell, we knew wouldn't be available. Those pick themselves, that Trev comes in, that Cucurella will play left wing back. I guess we probably also all thought that Kovacic and Kanté and Enzo Fernandez would all play. So really it was probably about what attacking players he would pick. He's gone for the legs of Connor in support of Kai.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right, my thoughts are, it may be that, it might be 5-4-1. And, you know, but what I said, and we had a chat downstairs about this before, I thought, do you know what, they're a great football team. And they're playing well just now, Real Madrid. They're not doing great in the league. That's because they are concerned with one trophy alone. They want the Champions League. They feel it belongs to them, right? So as a football team, they're a top football team. Do we want to try and out-football them here? I'm not sure we do. Do we want to try and show them, right, OK, we've got legs, we've got fight, we've got battle. We can chase you everywhere. We can give you not a second on the ball. We can make this a horrible, horrible night for you. And I think that's what we're going to do, are going to try and do. And that's the thing, that's a team that I think. Conor Gallagher, it's the nicest thing in the world. Conor's horrible to play against because he closes you down, he tackles you, gives you no space at all. We know N'Golo Kanté is the best in the business at that. Nobody in the world
plus
better.
Enzo and Cover, that is 4 sets of legs
Right,
in the middle of the park.
And you've got that. And by the way, you've also got 2 wing backs. You've got Reece going to come in there, who hopefully is fully fit tonight, and you've got Cucurella who's going. So in that area in there, you probably have 5 or 6 players. They don't want that. They really love to play a little some moves. Modric wants to get time on the ball. Now, they may break through that press if we're going to do it that way. But it's going to be hard for them, and we've got to make it hard. And it's risky, and we know it's risky. But you don't get anywhere without risk, and you certainly don't get to the Champions League semi-final without taking some risk. This is risky. I like it. And I'll be open now. That's what I would have done, what Frank's done.
Well, let's hope so. Maybe it's one of those we just work hard, close everything down, and, you know, if it's 0-0 at 60 minutes, we take that, get one, and kitchen sink it. It might be one of those nights. Let's hope so. Let's hope it's like Napoli. Let's hope that maybe the referee chucks in a Tom Henning of Rabo style performance for us. A little bit of luck wouldn't go amiss. Something like that. It can happen, but it's hope up here rather than expectation. Let's hear from the boss now. This is what Frank Lampard had to say in his pre-match press conference.
We're not where we want to be. I think the word broken is a bit much, but we're not where we want to be. And that's clear. League position is a reality in the Premier League. We're 2-0 down in this game. So I think those things are just reality. We have to work against that and show in every way we can because we're in that moment. I don't think anything tomorrow will be better than winning the Champions League, from my opinion, because we had many moments on that run of difficulties against Barcelona in that game and Napoli and all this. It was a huge run where there were a lot of big achievements. But I understand your point. I think for us, considering the result now, considering the team we're up against, because in that moment that we're in, we have to fight really hard to make it happen. So, of course, that would be special. Thank you.
Gary Cotterill, Sky Sports News.
Hello, Frank.
Hi, Gary.
Obviously, you were disappointed after the game on Saturday. You used words like lacking capacity and in need of physical work. You were speaking on large about mental work as well, but some have taken you saying lacking capacity and in need of physical work as a criticism of players not being fit enough, so a criticism of the previous regime. Is that how you meant it?
No, I think that's how you've taken it on that side, because I think I'm always big in football on personal responsibility as a player and as a group, to be fair. So when I'm talking like that, I'm not blaming anyone else than what I see now and what I see in the future. So it's just something that we have to address now and address going forward, because it's a big part of the game, and we do a lot of work and delve into the data, the statistics, the output of what we're putting into games. And this is absolutely, I think I said it the other day, not a question of commitment of players, but my job is to try and focus in on points that we can get better at to compete at this level. And I think it's something that I know as a short-term thing that we can certainly improve on, and that's what we're going to do.
Matt Law, Daily Telegraph.
Hiya, Frank. Hi. After the weekend's defeat, the owners went into the dressing room, and I believe Todd addressed the players and had some quite strong language and encouraging language, both things by the sounds of it. Kepa's just said that it's normal that they go in the dressing room, that they go in the dressing room virtually every game, he said. Is that healthy? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I am comfortable with that. And I think, for me, there's maybe some criticism of our old owner of not coming to the games and not being around. And that wasn't always true, to be fair. But I think when an owner is very vested in their interest in the team and wanting to help and improve, I think it's their prerogative to have the input that they want. I remember the moments as a player of owners first coming into dressing rooms. Actually happened here at Chelsea. It never really happened to me before, and I remember being really happy that the owner, you could touch them, you could high-five them, you could listen to them and feel them. So I don't think that's a bad thing in terms of the identity of the club and where you want to get to. So I have no problem with it. And from my point of view, I had my things to say after the game. If an owner comes in and wants to be positive and wants to speak to the players, then I think it's absolutely his part to do that. And like Kepa, I think, has said there, that it can be very regular in the modern day. No problem. In fact, it shows passion, and that's the first thing that I like. So, yeah, that's it.
John Cross,
Thanks,
Daily Mirror.
Frank, I was just going to ask you, how important is the atmosphere tomorrow night if you want to turn this tie around? Because there's obviously a bit of anger and angst towards particularly the ownership on Saturday, and the atmosphere can be negative. So how important is it that it's positive and gets behind the team tomorrow to turn it around?
I've got no doubt it will be positive. And when I talk about that, I talk about the lead to the game, the start of the game. I think the rest is a little bit down to us. It's down to us as a team to play with a real desire and a know-how to try and turn this game around. I think, for sure, I've been here too many times in this level of game at Chelsea, at Stamford Bridge on an evening, midweek Champions League knockout game, to understand that the atmosphere is going to be great. And again, now it's time for us to tap into that early in the game and make sure that we engage the crowd throughout, because they can help us, for sure. That's why we're at home. It's, that's why this two-legged competition is the best out there. So, yeah, I'm confident in that. We just need to play our part.
Carrie Brown, be in. Matt, pass the mic to Carrie, and then you can have it back. Thanks.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Just taking you back to two big Champions League moments. 2012 in the Nou Camp, a huge occasion, and the man with the winner at the last moment, a man that we knew was quality and couldn't find that quality, Fernando Torres, who then went on a great run of form after that. And also the cruelty of you leaving the club as the manager in your last stage when you got them into the last 16. In terms of the players you have in that dressing room, you talk about you have complete belief in their commitment, but just the true performances for them aren't coming through. Does this give you an opportunity to show them that it happened for Fernando Torres in a competition away from the league? You can really prove yourself. And you left those players who went all the way to that Champions League final to win it against City. Do you still see there is enough of that culture and belief in that dressing room to put on that performance again tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think anything is possible in football anyway. And there's no doubt that we're a competitive team and we deserve to be here in this stage of the competition. We also understand that the opponent is really high level. I think it's going to be careful to compare to previous moments or actions or games, because for Fernando Torres running through and rounding the keeper and scoring this amazing goal for Chelsea, there's like a big body of work behind that, and maybe good and bad and difficult moments, and that's a personal thing for Fernando, and it was a group thing for us. We'd lost semi-finals, we'd lost quarter-finals, we'd lost the final, so there's always a lot of backstory to it. The only thing, when you look back on those things, is to say that it's always possible to create that story and start that story, and we do have that opportunity. So I think it's not worth comparing too much. It's just worth focusing on the here and now with a little understanding that if we get things right, if we work hard, if we do the right things in the game, then anything is possible.
Hang on, Carrie. We're going to give everyone a chance, otherwise there's too many people here. Front row, gentleman on the right-hand side with the headphones on. Pass the microphone along, please. Thank you.
Hola, Frank. Hi, Frank. You've been in football for a long time as a player and a coach. How do you explain the strength that Real Madrid have over the years? Even if they're not playing well in the Champions, they're always, doesn't matter if they've signed new players or not, they're always performing well in the Champions. always a competitive team in the Champions League. Where does this come from?
Know the exact Real Madrid story from inside, but to look on the outside, firstly, they have a great coach who I understand very well from working with him. So I think he needs to take full credit in this moment, because what we saw last year in their run to the final was an amazing resilience that he led. And then what's very visible from the outside is a core of players that have been there for a very long time, playing at the highest level year after year, which means that they have talent and work ethic and leadership skills, and they drive the group as I see it. And I'm talking obviously about Modric and Kroos and Benzema and others. So I think they have a very good recipe for a team that will be successful over a period of time. They also have individual talent that can win a game in any moment, whether they are in control or without control. And I think those special players at the top end of the pitch at this level can be absolutely crucial to success, and they have those. So they have a very good overall unit to have the success that they've had for so long.
Matt Dunn.
Hi, Frank. We spoke about the owners a few moments ago. Regardless what happens to you in the next few weeks in the club, I'm sure as a sort of club hero, your interest is in Chelsea being in the best shape it is when you leave going forward. With that in mind, are you able to help the owners through some of the intricacies of English football? Because, I mean, I don't know, we all winced for you, I think, when Todd Bowley was proudly predicting a 3-0 win in Madrid, and it's not the sort of thing perhaps an English owner does, and there's certain things that seem to be rankling with the fans that perhaps they need to learn culturally, should we say, about the game over here. Is that something you can help them with?
No, all I'll do is speak honestly about how I see the club and do my work. And whilst I'm here and I am manager of the football club in this period, I'll speak honestly. I'll do my work on the training ground and have a lot of communication, because that's my job, and I'm good with that, and I have a lot of care for this club, and that's my job. It's not my job to sort of consider people's approaches or these things. I'll just speak honestly myself about what I see.
Myself and Zach have navigated our way through a very, very busy Fulham Road, just outside the Butcher's Hook, obviously a very famous Chelsea pub for home games. There's an atmosphere out here. We've seen the flares, we've seen the horses, we've seen the team bus arrive. Zach, it's going to be one of them nights, isn't it?
You hope so. You hope so. Look, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Is building that kind of atmosphere, letting the players, obviously the Chelsea players, know that we're behind them, we're supporting them, we're backing them for this kind of game. And look, no matter what's happened this season, there is an opportunity for something special tonight. Like, how many times have we sat as Chelsea fans and said, the night in Barcelona, the night at Stamford Bridge, so on and so forth. And for the opposition fans, it's also something to kind of, you're at Stamford Bridge now. Like, okay, you might have the positive scoreline, but we've been here many times. We've been at Chelsea, exactly, been in this position many times and have come back from it. And look, I don't know how many times I've sat here with you over the past few years and gone like, you know what, there's something special about the Champions League and when Chelsea are in it. And look, we're the only club to have won it in London. We're the only club to have won it twice in London for sure. And so hopefully today is another one of those special nights.
Absolutely. I think there's been a certain amount of realism ahead of this clash as well. You know, in the build-up to it, obviously things haven't been going exactly the way that Chelsea fans would have liked.
Yeah.
However, the last 48 hours, and as you can see the Real Madrid coach arriving now, the last 48 hours, Chelsea fans have started to feel it. You know, they've started to feel it. We're going to tuck in a little bit just because they don't want to get run over, but obviously all the traffic is now coming this way because there are a couple of Real Madrid coaches. I don't want to let any secrets out of the bag, but there's not always the players on the coach that says Real Madrid.
Very true, very true.
Just so you know that for future
Inside
reference.
knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen a couple. There was a coach that arrived this morning at about 10 o'clock with a massive Real Madrid brand on the side. Fairly sure Tony Rudiger wasn't on that one at 10 o'clock this morning. He's been waiting inside ever since. But you can hear all the chanting. I mean, I don't know why there's traffic cones in the air, but people are getting very involved, very excited for it. We speak about creating an atmosphere. The reason that this is going on is because the fans did something similar against Borussia Dortmund. And it seemed to work. I mean, again, I'm a superstitious guy when it comes to football, so if it works on that night, I'll do it again.
For sure. And also, like, look, there's a thing where I think for fans where they can feel like they've been a part of this. They feel like they've done their bit at the very least. They'll be loud now. I'll tell you what, they'll be loud during the game as well. I've sat here a couple of times, and people always ask me, like, what's my favourite Chelsea game? What's that favourite moment of mine? And I always go back to, for me personally, in the stadium as a fan, it was Chelsea versus Ajax, 4-4 in the end. And the manager then was Frank Lampard. It was a special occasion. It was something where at points in the game we felt like we were down and out, and that just magic of Chelsea in the Champions League managed to take them all the way through. And one of my favourite things about that game was just the fans. The fans were incredible. Now on that day, actually, Ajax fans weren't allowed in the stadium, but the way the Chelsea fans just made it was incredible. I'd never heard Stamford Bridge quite like that. It was so impressive, and it felt like the fans appreciated it. It felt like the fans knew that was something that could, or the Chelsea players. It drove them those extra yards. It kind of was that 12th man in football. And look, there's just something about a Wednesday or a Tuesday night, midweek, 8 o'clock, the lights are on, the water's just a little bit fresh, like the temperature's perfect, not too cold, not too hot, like, I don't know. It's set up something special today, hopefully.
Oh, we went Goldilocks, we went Bake Off, we did it all in there. I know exactly what you mean, though. It does. It has a different feel about it, a different vibe. And even this, right? Now, you've got to remember, Chelsea played big games here in the past. This is the first one that I can remember where the fans have gone, we perhaps need to show that we're fully behind the team. Because, in the past we've had runs where we've been in FA Cup finals, Carabao Cup finals, we've been a push for the league, for the top four or whatever. Things haven't been going Chelsea's way, but like you've already alluded to, this feels to me, as a fan myself, it feels very much like the fans going, do you know what, let's get on board, this is all about us tonight, we're a collective, we're a group, something special can happen, but we've all got to muck in together. And you never know, do you? Because again, like you've already mentioned, Real Madrid love this competition, they're perennial winners of this competition, probably better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But there's still Real Madrid fans that will be turning up tonight going, this is Chelsea though. We've seen this before.
Look, I think Real Madrid fans will come away from that first leg and go, why don't we do better? Like, we should have made it gone. We should have made it out of sight. And there's that belief in Chelsea fans, that belief in the Chelsea players that, you know what, they can bring this back. They can do that. And I think even when you think back to when Thomas Tuchel was in charge and we had that Champions League run, there were times in those games where they had to muster up that energy, muster up that commitment to the club and do something. And look, the guys that are in the squad aren't all new guys that have never played in the competition before. Some of them are Champions League winners. Some of them have been playing in the Champions League for 10 years now. They've been there, World Cup winners. Like, they've been in these high pressure moments many a times. They've had to be the person to be called upon. And you mentioned World Cup, Enzo Fernandez scoring several goals, or in particular that one goal, and having an incredible time during the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, look, these guys know what they'll be doing today, and hopefully, as I said earlier, it will result in a win. Absolutely right. Yeah, fans very much making themselves heard. You can kind of smell like a light burning almost from the flares that have been set off, and there's certainly an air of optimism as well, and it does feel very much, again, like we said before, for a team that aren't perhaps at the heights that we've set in previous years, to come into a Champions League quarter-final on a poor run by Chelsea standard as well, and yet there's still people turn up going, but it is Chelsea. And that's the magic. Like, that's the magic of the competition. That's the magic of the history that we've had in it. It's because you wouldn't do it if you haven't done it before, and we have several times. And then you sit there and you go, okay, well, Frank Lampard's in charge as well, and we obviously, in particular, as a player, had those special moments in that competition. He was there, and he knows that he's been in those situations many a times. Like, I feel like as a player, if you sit there and you have someone like the name of Frank Lampard and like the ability of Frank Lampard and has experienced what he's experienced, and he's sitting there and he's going, look, I've been here, like, we've been here, you've been here. This is how it was for me. This is how it's going to be like for you. And you go onto that pitch and you realise, like, wow, at the end of the day, this is just a football game. This is 90 minutes of football on grass. Yes, it might be being watched by 40,000+ people, but I feel like when that first whistle goes, it's 90 minutes and you know what to do. Absolutely. This is very much, like we keep coming back to, this is very much a message from the supporters to create this atmosphere coming in. It's a message from the fans to say, look, Frank, team, we're behind you, we're in this together. Speak about Chelsea being a family. We always come back to that and we talk about how important that is, and that cultural feel of being one when you're up against it. Jose Mourinho did it fantastically when he was here to cultivate that us against the world mentality. Yep. Tonight needs to be a little bit like that, because we are against the best team in Europe. You know what? credit to them. Credit to them. You don't win as many Champions Leagues as they've won by being mediocre. And you look at we talk about routes to the finals and routes in the Champions League where maybe it was kind of like the underdog. It wasn't expected. I don't know how many times I sat there last year with Real Madrid and went, okay, well they'll lose here, or they'll lose there, or they'll lose in this game.
Two down in PSG,
exactly.
Benzema hat-trick.
Exactly.
Yeah,
or it was against Man City. Or it was against us, for instance, once we brought it back and they just managed to do it. Look, this is one team where if you're arguably the toughest team you can come up against in this competition, because we're talking about how we've been there, done that. They've been there, done that over 10, 15, 14 times. It's mightily impressive. And you look at they've got some of the best players in the world. They've got the Ballon d'Or winner. They've got Vinicius Jr. and someone who's incredible down that left flank, and someone who you might even believe is one of the best wingers in the world. It really is an impressive team and squad that they have, full of just absolute winners. And Chelsea are going to have to be on their top form to beat them.
That's exactly it, though, isn't it? And again, we keep coming back to it, but when you've got the players within the camp that Chelsea have got, and also an opportunity to turn what has been a disappointing season into something quite magical, because believe me, if you get to a Champions League final, or you get to a Champions League semi-final, and then you're testing Man City over two legs, genuinely, and we're going to say this a lot tonight, anything can happen. It really can happen. The atmosphere's starting to build, so me and Zach are going to get ready for it as well. Looking forward to this one tonight. Make sure you stay with us on Matchday Live. Plenty more reaction, plenty more build-up, and of course, live commentary coming your way this evening with Ben and Pat. Time to hand over to the boys now.
We'd love to tell you some excellent clues from warm-ups, but mostly we were looking at the pink boots. Nothing overly obvious. They're still out there at the moment. Zach will be joining us here for commentary in a bit. We've had half an hour to think about this team news more, Pat. What are you thinking now?
Right, first thing that jumps out to me, I did a little bit of research and thought, you know, that 3-0 when we were up away at the it wasn't Bernabeu, it was our stadium, but we were 3-0 up against Real Madrid last year. Half of the outfield players that started that game are starting tonight. Right, so half of the guys on that pitch for the Blues tonight know they can do it, know that it's possible. Don't think. They know they can score 3 goals.
And that was away second leg, that wasn't
exactly.
here.
So, right, so and I know this has been ultra positive, and we want to see some ultra positive stuff as well. So, the gaffer, Frank's just said to himself, look, I need people out here, A, that have been here, done that, seen it, but also people that are going to do it for me. The people that are going to work hard for me. People that are going to run through the proverbial brick wall for me. And that's what this team looks like to me. That's what, if you look at that midfield, I mean, you could do it in a number of ways. It could be said a 5-4-1, a 5-3-2. There's lots of ways you could dress us up, a 3-5-2, right? But basically, we've got 3 centre-backs. We've got 2 wing-backs that are going to hammer up and down, which is great. Cucurella, as you said before, in his right position. 3 midfielders, stroke 4, that are going to work their socks off. You know Kovac's going to do that. You know Kanté's going to do that. You absolutely know Gallagher's going to do that, and so is Enzo. So you've got a bunch of people that are going to work incredibly hard for the gaffer tonight. And I want that. And every single fan watching and listening and here in the stadium, that's what we want as well. And if we go down fighting tonight, I think we'll be happy, fans will be happy, the owners will be happy, and I think the players can be quite happy themselves. But please go down fighting tonight. And that's a team that will either win or go down fighting.
6 of the starters, by the way, are on a yellow card, and so would miss the first leg of the semi-final against Man City. How much would we love to play and get Pep over-pepping it again? Maybe it's a bit like 2012. Maybe that's an omen. Real Madrid, do they really need 15 Champions League titles?
Do you know what? They are an amazing club. I mean, they absolutely are. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've had a slight preference for Barca over Real Madrid, but I know why one of the most incredible clubs, well, probably the incredible club in European football, because of the amount that they've won. And they've just got a feeling for it. And we're talking about, you think you can win a game, or you know you can. Well, they know they can, because they've done it so often. But you've got to ignore those white strips. It's like you really just got to blank them. You've got to say, it's only 11 guys out there. You've got to play tricks of your mind and say, that guy Modric, he may be quite good, but he's not young anymore. You know, you've got to say things like that.
He and Benzema are 74 years old between them.
I know, but they are great. Well, except that, they're great. But you just got to blank that, and you've got to say, where are your weaknesses, and let's see if we can find them. Because every player's got a weakness. Now, if you're that age, getting chased and getting harried and getting hassled every single minute is what you don't want, and it doesn't matter who you are. So that's my hope tonight, that we do that. And if we come out of it in this competition or out of this competition, as long as we've done that, I'll actually walk out with a smile and say, well done, lads. You've done your best.
Yep, that's what we're hoping for up here, for crossing everything we can. Let's hear now from the man who is going to be the penalty shootout hero about 2.5 hours from now. This is Kepa at his pre-match press conference.
Hello. Can I just ask you about your own season, your own form this season? It must have been a difficult, challenging campaign with the change of managers and so on, but you've overcome difficult times in the past. How strong mentally do you have to be? You know, and how happy, otherwise have you been with your form this season?
Yeah, I think it's a positive, very positive season for me. Looking personally, I think the last 2 seasons I had played 15 games per season. Now I am playing more. I am feeling well. I am feeling with confidence, and I am enjoying on the pitch. I think it's the basic. I think it's the most important thing. And obviously the season in general is not the best one, but personally I think I am happy with my season. Thank you.
Gary. Hello, Kepa.
Hello.
Have you all been practicing penalties, and if so, have you been practicing taking as well as saving?
Well, we didn't think too much in penalties for this game. I think we were focusing in many other areas. I think that we had to think before. Obviously, if we arrive to penalties, obviously we are looking everything and we know everything. And I think we have good takers in this area that they are training during the weeks. Penalties not right or not just today or yesterday. So I think hopefully we can arrive to penalties. This means like we win 2-0, so it's not bad.
Davide?
Hi, Kepa. From a team perspective, this is going to be the 4th game under manager Frank Lampard. What has he changed, and what do you think you need to do to win this game and go to the next round?
Obviously, we need better performance that we had in Bernabeu. We need to control better the counter-attacks. We need spend better the time with ball. We need to create more chances for sure. We need to score goals. And we need be more clinical maybe in both areas. I think it's going to be a key.
Carrie?
Kepa, Matt Law reporting in the Telegraph about Todd Bowley coming in to have a chat with you after the last match. He absolutely wears his heart on the chest, doesn't he? He's very open in his language, but the report is he said the performance has been embarrassing. What's that like to hear, and can you take a lot from him? Is he very open in what he feels? And what do you think Frank Lampard can bring from a big European night like this? Because he has unfinished business, doesn't he, as a manager in this competition?
Obviously, hopefully tomorrow we can involve all the fans, all Stamford Bridge, deliver our best and make this different atmosphere that we need in this game to go through. It's not going to be easy, but as I said before, we have to go step by step, do the right things from the beginning, and push as much as we can. And the other thing, as you say, Todd came to the change room every game, so he had like different chat with us, different games, and I'm not gonna say what he said, but it's normal when he came to the change room.
Okay. I watched you make 2 great saves on Saturday against Brighton, and you say yourself that you're feeling very confident. Yet over the time I've seen you play at Chelsea, it always seems to me that you still have to try to convince the fans that you are deserving of the #1 place. It seems that the relationship has always been a bit uncertain, that maybe they still need to be convinced. Why do you think the fans feel like that, and what can you do to assure them that you are the man that can take this club forward and into the Champions League final?
Well, this is obviously question for a fan, so the fans can can have different opinions about different players, about if you like more one player, the other one. What I can do is like deliver my best, work every day, try to perform in the best way, and try to help the team. This is my job. This is what I am doing in the last 5 years, and what I am doing is like try to do my best for Chelsea to win.
How much does Chelsea mean to you?
Well, it's my home for 5 years now. I am very happy to be here. Of course, I am feeling like at home, and I am enjoying this journey that we had in the last few years.
You spoke earlier about your personal battles since you've come here to keep your place in the team. What were your feelings when a manager effectively dropped you the first time, came back? What was your initial feeling? Did you have a chat with him then? And I just wondered, do you still have your Champions League medal from a couple of years ago, or does that mean nothing to you, and does that make this more special from the fact that you were sat on the bench?
No, I have my medal. I'm in the good place in my home, and obviously I'm very happy to have that. And the other question was like 3 years ago. It's different situation. It's different. Everything is different. Now I am playing. Frank came here again. He's our manager, and he's taking his decision every game. And when he picked me to be in the start 11, I am trying to give my best.
Alex? Hi. Since Frank Lampard's come back, he's spoken a lot about belief. How is belief in the squad, and do you think you are lacking confidence?
I don't know if lacking confidence. Maybe we are not in our best shape. We are in 11th in the league. It's not a good season for us. This is obvious. And what we have to do is believe until the end, because in these stadiums, things like remontadas can happen before, and we have to believe that will happen tomorrow. We have to deliver, as I said before, our best and try to do the right things. We need big performance, not the performance of our life maybe, but obviously a big performance.
I just wanted to ask, because there's been so much change in the squad over the past year or so, so many new players arriving, now it's a very big squad, and sometimes the chemistry on the pitch hasn't seemed amazing. So I just wanted to ask you, how has the group been in terms of building chemistry off the pitch day by day in training? And does it affect things when lots of players know that they're not going to be in the squad?
Well, it's true that we have a lot of players, maybe more than normal usually in the team, but I think it's not question obviously for me. I think what can I say is like the atmosphere in the change room. Obviously, we are not happy where we are, but the atmosphere is good. It's not problem between us. It's not fighting. It's not nothing like this. So we are trying to find a way to win the games. Just that it's true that we had a lot of changes, but we are the first one that we know that, and we won't change the situation.
Thank you. We'll end it there. Thank you, everyone.
Kepa Arrizabalaga there speaking to the press ahead of Chelsea versus Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge tonight. I'm with Alison and Dan. Alison, we didn't give you a proper welcome. Firstly, welcome to the Matchday Live team. Obviously, no stranger to Chelsea Football Club, and people are very familiar with you. But also, and we do need to get this in early, you've got a bit of a Real Madrid past with you as well, haven't you?
But I have to say, it's all Chelsea. I'm so lucky I worked here at the club, and it's always great to be back at Stamford Bridge for about a decade. And I spent a mere couple of seasons at Real Madrid. In the glory days, to be fair, 2005, 2006, it was absolutely brilliant back then. And to be fair, Real Madrid have got this thing that the Champions League belongs to them. They have a certain kind of swag and an arrogance. But you know what? The Champions League belongs to us as well. And we've got to be, I just feel like nights like this are such a privilege, right? We've got to remember how important it is to be here in the Champions League, right? And enjoy it.
Yeah, at the very least we want is a memorable night, I guess. If nothing else, we want a night that we remember, not one of those, dreary performances. I do agree with you, Alison, though. I do think Real Madrid are quite arrogant. And, even just down to the all-white kit, who does that? Who does that,
So,
but, yeah.
Whoever had about 2 minutes 30 down before Dan says something that could get clipped up and is going to make him a villain in Spain, well done. No, you're right, and you're both right. They are a phenomenon in this competition especially. They are brilliant. But, Dan, we've spent the last 20 minutes or so stood here, fans are walking past, every 3 or 4. They've blessed them. They've all quietened down a little bit now because the lights on the cameram's live. But beforehand, everybody's shouting, everybody's getting up for it. And even walking in, this is 45, 50, sometimes an hour and a half between since some people have been involved and been around the ground. Yeah, we're losing. There you go, the strobe's on already. Look, they're feeling it. Yeah. Ministry of Sound now.
This is what we want, though. Life. It doesn't feel like we are 2-0 down in the leg. If we're totally honest, everyone's in high spirits. And we're going to need them, This used to be an absolute fortress. And it didn't matter who you were and what form you were in. You would come here, and the fans are pretty much on the pitch. They're loud. It's an intimate stadium, as it goes for teams at this level. They can make the difference. I think people really underestimate that. The fans really can.
I've been to so
what are you
many...
saying, Alison? Let's just look at that from a little bit earlier on. You carry on, but these are the pictures that we saw a little bit earlier on outside the ground.
I loved it. I mean, just to see, obviously there was a planned, get together. They said, bring the pyros, bring the smoke, bring it all, And I was listening to some of the chants and I was loving it because there was loads of obviously like the Zigga Zigga, there was the John Terry, there was Salomon Kalou chants, there was celery flying around, and I love the celery because it reminds me of the old FA Cup final days at Wembley, and I just want to see that. I want to see the fans, obviously, rise to the occasion, but we need to see the players rise to the occasion as well. These players need to give the game of their life. Exactly. Go on, Chelsea. We need to see the players give the game of their lives because this is the last game that matters, really. Let's be honest, right? So they need to leave everything on the pitch for us, I think. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just being over sentimental, but I won't be happy unless I see, them. With just on the ground by the end of the game, right?
We know what we're going to do. We're going to kick every ball with them. We're going to do whatever we can to make it as easy as possible for the Chelsea players and as hard as possible for the Madrid players. And the reality of it is, if we don't give a good account of ourselves today, and even if we do, this could be our last... The soonest we can play Champions League football again is...
18 months.
18 months or something like that. Scary. So... Everyone
needs to enjoy it.
So we have to enjoy it. This is the pinnacle of the sport. This is what everyone loves. The 7:45 or 8 p.m. kickoffs. When it's dark, it has a different feel, and we won't get this for a while if we go out with a whimper.
Alison, I'm always looking for marginal gains, something that I can look at, especially opposition team that are going to bring a lot to the table like Real Madrid are. Look at little things that might disrupt them. We spoke about at the weekend about team buses, what order they arrive in. Obviously the Chelsea fans have had their impacts before the game, trying to make it loud, trying to make it noisy, and a bit of a hostile atmosphere for them to come into. There's a little bit of a spat going on social media between Barcelona and Real Madrid. I'm looking at everything, any little thing that might play into it. But there is also an element of, this is an elite football club that are used to winning games of football. Like they come to big games, they come to big arenas, they come to places where they're behind the 8 ball a little bit, and they turn up and they put in a functional performance and they get over the line. Is there a little bit of a concern, and maybe we have to take our Chelsea hat off for a second to go, if Real Madrid turn up and play the way Real Madrid can, there might not be a lot we can do this evening?
It's true, but I do think Real Madrid can be got at, and I don't want Chelsea players to kind of look at that team sheet and be overawed in any way, because they can play against those set of players. And, I've seen Real Madrid struggle. I've been following Real Madrid for many years, as you know. I worked at the club. I went out there to set up Real Madrid TV. It was a magical experience. I played under some fantastic... Zidane was a player when I was there. That's how long ago it was. We had Raul, we had Roberto Carlos, we had Beckham. I know this is Chelsea, so I'm not going to get too carried away. They had, exactly. And it was a magical time. But, even Real Madrid have had struggles. So before Carlo Ancelotti came along, they could not get a goal from anywhere. Carlo's come in, and now we see some promising. I mean, that front three are frightening. But Rodrigo, by the way, against Real Madrid this weekend, missed a whole host of chances. He was great at dribbling, but it was pretty wasteful. And I know they did end up winning 2-0 in the end. But listen, anything can happen. I've seen crazier things in the Champions League over the years. And I just want to see one of those crazy nights where everyone gives everything.
You really want that, don't you? Ashley Cole is trending at the moment as well. Ashley Cole is trending on social media because apparently he's just been putting the players through their paces and giving them an absolute grilling to make sure that everyone knows their job tonight. And if you know Ashley Cole's putting your backline through a decent drill this evening, that gives you confidence. But also, just carrying on from what you were saying there, Alison, about the fact that this is Chelsea. If you ask a Chelsea fan prior to the tie, 2-0 when we went down to 10 men, you'd have probably taken it when we went down to 10, when it looked like Real Madrid was starting to get into their rhythm. But also...
Absolutely, and when Mason Mount nearly scored as well.
And second leg at Stamford Bridge, you'd have taken that before the tie probably, wouldn't you?
And no away goals,
No
by the
away
way.
goals.
That's massive. Because
So that
if
helps.
that was...
Look, we have seen this before hundreds of times. We did it 4-1 at Napoli. We were 2-0 down and 10 men down to 10 men against Barcelona that night where Torres went round Victor Valdez. We've seen this loads of times before. Can we do it again?
And listen, I know there's going to be loads of people screaming at their screens and saying, this is Real Madrid, they're brilliant, you're delusional, all the rest of it. I know that. I know that they are a very good side.
I like being delusional.
However, you've got a dream, right?
Of course.
I don't think Real Madrid are that good. You know, they're good. They've got a huge history. But this is not the same team as the team we played in the Camp Nou. That is the best team that we've probably ever seen.
Right, again. If you hang on, if you're playing at home with the Savage Dan tick list, he's mentioned the Camp Nou enough times about Barcelona to sew that in. This is also the man that did put. I'll give it to him. He put Erling Haaland off his game.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, he didn't give it to Cody Gakpo. He went missing as well.
Look,
so you've got past Dan.
I just think any team can be got at, like Alison said. All of them, you know, and you don't have to beat them at football. If that's what they do best, then you can allow them to have the ball, and you have to find, you know, an ugly.
A little bit of luck. I will take anything.
Be
A
ugly.
deflection, a penalty, whatever it might be. A dodgy refereeing decision. I was here for that Barcelona game. I had to interview Pep Guardiola afterwards, and after that Tom Henning and Brado refereeing, we owed one, and I'm happy to wait right until now.
Listen,
I'll take that now.
Some things are just written, and let's just see what's written for today. Honestly, it wouldn't be the strangest thing that's happened.
This is what you want, though, isn't it? Like we said, there's so much narrative, there's so much talk into it. Like you said, Alison, maybe we're due one. Maybe tonight's the night we call it in.
And do you
Whatever's
know,
going to happen.
The marginal gains thing, sorry, you were saying, if anyone knows about that, it's Lampard. He's one of those players, right? When I was at Chelsea TV, I used to watch him at the end of training every day, taking his free kicks, doing sit-ups, 100 sit-ups every day. He just worked. And I'll be honest, this Chelsea team do not look fit at the moment. They don't look like they're running their socks off. And Lampard's going to be hammering them. And I want to see not just a good performance tonight, but until the end of the season, a level. That's what we want to see.
Absolutely. This is it. You know, there are only a few moments until kickoff, and like Alison said, Frank Lampard is the man for it. He's the man that's going to be in the dressing room going through the final few seconds, the final few preparations, the words of wisdom, the moment of magic that potentially could come from anyone tonight. We are very, very ready for this. And remember, nothing is straightforward when you're a Chelsea fan. And tonight, there could be a little bit of magic left in it. So time to hand you over to our commentary team for Chelsea versus Real Madrid, the second leg of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final at Stamford Bridge, with Pat Nevin and Ben Andrews.
Here we go then, folks. Something special. Yes, please. That would go very nicely indeed. What we want is we want to be able to say, I was there that night when nobody gave us a chance, where we'd been a bit rubbish for a few weeks, where we got done 2-0 out there. No one said we had a chance, and we did it. Ben and Pat and Zach here for you. The players are in the tunnel. The flags are waving on a Champions League night. Quarter-final, second leg, Real Madrid at the Bridge. It's awesome, except for the scoreline, so we can deal with that as quickly as possible, I think. Zach.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Atmosphere is going to be a big one tonight. I said it beforehand. I just think Chelsea, on a Champions League night, Stamford Bridge, there's nowhere else to be. I really, really do. I mentioned Ajax. There have been other games as well where we've seen some special occasions. I mean, the fans really need to get behind the players today. And look, if we can get a goal before half time, I think anything can happen.
I guess, just the first goal at any point, Pat, even if it comes with 15 to play. But yeah, just get the first goal in this tie whenever it comes.
Yeah, but ask questions as well. Show that we can create chances. We did in the first leg. We created chances early on. We created a great chance late on. We need to show ourselves and our fans that we can do that we are capable of doing that. When we do that, there won't be any problems in this ground. Everybody is desperate to get behind these players. And if you give them something to get behind, it's amazing how much it can change. What have you recently, it was Arsenal at Liverpool, and how terrible Liverpool were. And then suddenly there was the tackle, Xhaka, wasn't it? And then suddenly the players got it. And then the fans got it. And then they all got it. And then an impossible situation looked an absolute stick-on after that. You kind of need to do that. You need to do that against Real Madrid. But you can do it. It can happen. It's possible. But everyone has to have their A game tonight.
Yeah, that is it. We've got 11 out there, and you really want to be able to say at the end of this game to about 8 or 9 of them that they've just played 9 or 10 out of 10. And no unforced errors have happened, because there's been too many of them. I'm seeing the captains in the tunnel